Hi everyone, welcome back to WHU TV. My name is John, your host as always, and I hope you're all doing well as I always do. I'm back. I have survived Benidorm. It was great fun. Really enjoyed it. Got a little bit of a cough and a small smattering of a cold even. It's not COVID, so don't worry about that. It's just what happens when you leave from one country to another, especially with Ryanair. West Ham is back. The Premier League is back. It's fantastic. I'm absolutely loving it. What a transfer window we've had so far, which I'll come on to in a minute. But as always, guys, this video is the preview of West Ham's first home game of the 22-23 Premier League season, where we welcome our 21-22 Premier League season final home opponents, Manchester City, to the London Stadium for a 4:30 kickoff this Sunday afternoon live on Sky Sports. Now, guys, as I would normally kick in and say about the channel sponsor, which I'll do in a minute, I do need to let you know that this is a different concept. As far as you guys on YouTube are concerned, give or take probably a couple of bits of crappy editing, because this is the first time I've ever tried it. For the Patreons, there is going to be an extended cut of this preview, right? So with the extended cut, I'm going to go into the tactics and the team lineup of both sides. Now, normally, as you know, towards the end of the video, I do what I think is going to be a starting 11. Still there on YouTube, everything's exactly the same. But as I say, on Patreon, there's a bit more of an extended version of it where I'm talking about the analysis, go into player depth, etc., etc. So If you want to become a Patreon and see the full unedited version of this video, then by all means, please become a Patreon. It's less than basically between £2.50 and £3 for even a squad player or a starting 11 Patreon. And so, guys, if you want to do it, just click on. If not, the concept for everything else on YouTube stays exactly the same. As I say, it's just going to be an slightly more extended version of this video. Not that mine was short to begin with. As always, this video is sponsored by the channel sponsor, 3retro.com. Please click the link in the description below that will take you directly through to the West Ham section of their website, and where you can purchase some really nice retro gear, guys. As you can see from the animation up here, that also includes the City gear as well. There's also track jackets, polo shirts, sweatshirts and t-shirts, so go check those out. If you're a City fan, go grab yourself some really nice City gear. If you're a West Ham fan and you've been watching this channel for a while, you'll know that any purchases you make through the link in the description below, for any of them whatsoever, the commission that the channel would normally be getting, I'll be sending directly on to Iron Supporting Food Banks, the charity in the Newham area that are helping those in the Newham area and also the Essex area to put food on their table in this very, very difficult time of year. And obviously we know that the cost of living is going to be going up even further with the interest rates being extended as well. So go grab yourself a really nice retro shirt. Depending on what you're purchasing, you'll be saving between £5 and £15, and you'll be helping those that are less fortunate than you and I. So unfortunately, guys, the rumours were true. The official for this game is Michael Oliver. His assistants are Stuart Burt and Simon Bennett. The fourth official is Stuart Atwell. Unfortunately, on VAR, we have Mike Dean. Ay, caramba. And his assistant is Eddie Smart. So, hopefully things are going to change. Hopefully things are going to change this season. But the omens aren't looking good, especially from the officials' point of view. Now, our last 6 home games against City show basically that the draw has increased from last time. So we've won 0, drawn 2 and lost 4. David Moyes has faced City at home in the Premier League as a manager 16 times, winning 7, drawing 5 and losing 4. Obviously, we know that the most recent draw was at the end of last season, Noble's last home game. So, but other than that, it's exactly the same as it always has been. You know, City are an amazingly good side, and they're going to give us a game. What kind of better way to start off the West Ham Premier League campaign than playing one of the toughest teams in the league? Now, normally I would go on about their possession rates, etc., etc., but as this is the brand new first game of the season, there's no stats to talk about. So what I will do instead is we'll talk about City's summer window as of the time of this recording. Now, of course, the big news towards the end of last season was they're bringing in Haaland from Dortmund for £54 million from what I've seen on transfermarket.co.uk. Calvin Phillips went to City as well from Leeds for £44 million. I said in January that £50 million last minute ditch bid in January was a phantom bid, and it clearly was the case. Granted, we've got players in now as a result of it, which we'll go into in a little while. They also brought in goalkeeper Ortega from Bielefeld, I think you pronounce it, on a free. They sold Raheem Sterling to Chelsea for £50.5 million. Jesus to Arsenal for 47. Zinchenko as well for 31.5 million. Some juniors have been let go as well for that. Well, been sold, I should say, that we aren't really aware of, but it is part of the transfer window. So Porro to Sporting for 7.65. Itakura, I think you pronounce that, to Mönchengladbach for £4.5 million. Muric to Burnley for £2.7 million. Fernandinho, Azani, Machino, Herrera, Stefan and Rossa were all released at the end of the season. Now, even though City are more likely to score in the second half than they are in the first, but this doesn't mean we could have a clean sheet by half time. But I've got a funny feeling we might do this season, guys, which I'll go into when we talk about the analysis for the Patreons. Last season they were very, very ruthless with their attacking style. Their attacking style gets harder and harder to play against every single season. So hopefully we can give them a bit of a fight and show what we're all about again. Players to look out for, pretty much everyone, as I always say. Phil Foden, who looks like he's going to get a new contract. De Bruyne, who's always a difficult player to mark against and play against. Mahrez, Grealish, Ake, Walker. Cancelo, the play, it's endless, quite frankly. Now, Haaland does look like a handful from his debut against Liverpool in the Community Shield. Now, I know, yes, okay, he missed a couple of sitters, etc., etc., but he seems to read the game very, very well and is very likely to be a very tricky player to play against and also defend against this coming season. I'm genuinely looking forward to seeing what is going on with him at the minute. I really, really do, because I don't know him. I've only seen him in the Community Shield, and even that was the last 15-20 minutes while we're out in Benidorm last week. But let's look at the injuries now. At the time of this recording, PremierInjuries.com shows only one long-term injury, which is no surprise to anybody. It's Laporte, because he had a knee injury towards the middle of this last season, if I remember correctly, and he's had surgery as well since then. So even though with that, City do have a pretty full squad to choose from, and we are still nowhere near the end of the transfer window yet, as there's still pretty much 25 days to go at the time of this recording. So, as I said, guys, this is now where we turn over to the Patreon only exclusive content. So, guys, if you want to become a Patreon and get access to this, then by all means, links in the description. So turning to West Ham at the time of this recording, we've had a great transfer window so far, with finally bringing in a centre-forward, 23-year-old Gianluca Scamacca for around £35 million, including add-ons from what I'm reading, according to transfermarket.co.uk. From Sassuolo for 25 appearances and 16 goals. Not too bad. From the research that I've done, because I know a lot of people don't know about him, of course everybody jumped on YouTube and had a look at his highlight reels from last season, etc., etc., but it seems that he seems to be a real handful the way he plays. He's got a 54% scoring rate, which I'm very happy about. 74% pass success rate, an average of 2.2 shots per game, 1.4 average aerial duels won per game. Now he's 6'5", but it seems to be more lethal with the ball at his feet rather than just lumping it up. And he's able to score headers, but he seems to be more of a Daisy Cutter-esque outside of the box, straight down the middle. So not straight down the middle. He likes to put it into either corner of the box, in the corner of the net, I should say. But it seems to be more on the floor type of a player, rather with the way he scores, rather than trying to be a corner specialist or that sort of thing, which I quite like, actually. I think a lot of people are going to get confused by this style of play, especially for the first few games, if he plays in this City game, which I don't think he will, to be honest with you. His style of play also seems to be that he likes to play long balls, and he is listed as an indirect set-piece threat. Now, from the research I've done and watching other people's videos that have talked about him, he does seem to be the assister of the assist. He starts the play for a lot of things, which I love. We're going to need that a lot, especially bearing in mind if we're going to have Antonio on the pitch with him, that would be basically very much like how we try to do things with Allaire under Pellegrini. He's a strong finisher, but he is weak at holding on to the ball, so this could be an issue with a lot of the supporters, and I hope this is something that he really works on and has worked on in his training since he signed a week or so ago. Now, Masuaku has joined Besticas on loan for the season, which, as at the time of me doing these notes, I was very, very confident of a left-back stroke left-wing back coming in. Of course, at the time of this recording, a fee has been accepted for Cornet. So hopefully, and also apparently his medical is going to be done by the end of this week. So hopefully, fingers crossed, if everything goes to plan, then obviously they'll do the video to confirm that the announcement's done. But if it doesn't go through for whatever reason, and then we have my main man, Ben Johnson, that can cover the left-back position. It's not an issue, but it'd be great to have a player of Cornet's reputation. Now, we do know his abilities. We've obviously seen him play in the Premier League, regardless of Burnley getting relegated. He was a very, very tricky player. Very, very good. But, yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Now, obviously, because I'm not going to go into the other previous signings, I've done that in previous videos, so go and check those out if you haven't already done so. Now, PremierInjuries.com shows that Aguerd seems to be the only injury really still, as he is estimated to return from his ankle injury sustained against Rangers early in pre-season and subsequent surgery as well. It seems to be, he's looking like he's returned to maybe training rather than game time itself. Seems to be around about the Wolves game, the 1st of October. Which pretty much backs up what X said on the West Ham Way Patreon podcast a few weeks ago about him being out for 6 to 12 weeks. So it's around about that sort of thing. It's also recorded there that Diop has had a knock, but I think it's more down to the speculation stroke transfer listing, because we all know what the scenario is going on with him rather than an actual starting injury. So guys, as always, as the penultimate part of this video, let's now talk about the starting 11, and of course for the Patreons we'll go into a bit more detail. But here is this for you, those who are watching on YouTube. Here is the starting 11 that I pretty much think is a very good odds-on start for. It's an odds-on that I don't think Moyes is going to put any of the new signings out. Yeah, I don't think, not for this one. So here's the starting 11 that I think we're going to see.
Fabianski in goal, with a back four of Soufal, Dawson, Zuma and Creswell. Soucek and Rice in the defensive midfield positions, with Bowen, Lanzini and Fornals in midfield, supporting Antonio up front.
So thank you very much for your time. As always, guys, put your comments in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you're new to the channel and haven't already done so, and you're enjoying the content, then by all means, please do subscribe. But in the meantime, guys, thank you very, very much for your time. Enjoy the rest of the weekend, because this will be live on Friday afternoon, so that's the start of the weekend. And on Sunday, we'll have the post-match analysis as well. There'll also be a Patreon version of that as well, so I'll go into a little bit more detail, have my thoughts, and then they'll be interspersed with analysis of the fixtures as well. The formations and the tactics as much as I can remember them for, of course. But in the meantime, guys, look after yourselves. Make sure you've got a lot of water, because it's still going to be a very, very hot few weeks coming out now. We're right smack bang in the middle of winter, in the middle of summer. So look after yourselves, and I'll see you very, very soon. All the best.